All right, folks, welcome back to the Live at a Dollar Podcast Network. This is another edition of Radio's Yard, as you can see to my left and my right and on the screen as well. We have a special guest, but we have my two regulars here. JT is here, CJ is here from the Yard, and we have a special guest joining us here today in Radio's Yard. Very special. We're very excited about this one. Coach Jason Brown. If you don't know who Coach Jason Brown is, Coach JB from Last Chance U. I'm going to go ahead and let CJ take over at this point here. I want to give him the proper introduction here, but I feel like, Coach, at this point, I'm going to let CJ introduce you since you have a very good relationship with my boy sitting to the left.
No doubt.
Well, chat, today we got Coach Jason Brown on the podcast, chat. If you guys do not know, he was the head coach of Independence Community College for a very long time, for what I'm assuming. But he coached me from 16 to 18 year. So if you guys are familiar with the show Last Chance U, I was featured on season 3, part 2. So make sure you guys go ahead and watch that. Coach JB, how you doing?
What up, brother? What up? What up? Appreciate you guys having me, man.
Coach, you know what? Wait, I'm letting CJ. I'm killing CJ's mic for a second here. I got to ask you this. Me and JT want to know this right before we even start with anything. How was CJ? Was he coachable? Was he? What was the deal with CJ before we even get started with any of this BS?
Yeah, and what were some negatives too?
Yeah, we need the negatives. We need everything bad about CJ here, Coach. We need you. Yeah.
Well.
Hey, he was a slap dick. That's what we want. Hey, that's what we only can hope to have on our team, man. You know what I mean? We don't want the other two things that I wrote about in my book. We want the slap dicks. Those are guys that like no malicious intent in their life. They just are like guys that just walk around like we all are. All of us right here are slap dicks, and that's what he was. But no, he was a great kid, man. One of my favorites of all time. Great kid, coachable as all get up. One of the guys you want on your team, and then he can play on top of that. So he was an elite player, not only for us but on the next level. So that's obviously what he was. So as long as he was never a shitbird, that's all I cared about.
Coach, that's all I needed to hear. CJ, you now can take over and start.
That.
I needed that first, Coach. Thank you very much, man. We needed that. Go ahead, CJ.
To run to the first question, I see you talking about NIL and stuff a lot on your podcast and on social media. How do you think, or if NIL would have benefited the JUCO players back when we played with the Last Chance U out? What's your take on that?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. I don't think it would have benefited unless you had money, and I don't know how much money we would have had to find money. And I mean, if it was anybody, it would have been me just because of the contacts. I think I would have had former players of mine or something like that help out. But other than that, there's no resources. You know that. The resources are going to be scarce in junior college level. So it'd have been tough, man. It would have been tough. And then what's the buy-in going to be? JUCO is for JUCO, football jail. I don't know if people would have realized they were there for the right reason. So now you might have got kids that didn't really appreciate the fact that it was setting you up for the next level. They might have just came there and just tried to get a bag, just like they're doing at the D1 level right now. So I don't know if it have benefited a lot of players. I think it would actually probably would end up hurting them. Now, if there's a collective out there that's got a pot of money and every JUCO is going to get money, and then it still comes down to recruiting, then each his own. But if there's only going to be a Butler or a Hutch or East Mississippi that gets all the kids,
right? Yeah.
I don't know how that would have benefited.
So if you guys aren't familiar, Butler, Hutch, and those are like the top two probably like JUCO programs in JUCO.
Yeah,
because they get all the money, they get all the
Butler
funds.
Stadium's crazy.
It's insane.
It's unreal.
It's insane. It's nice. So those two schools are like, they would say top of the food charts with money and stuff like that. Because they have the new uniforms.
Garden City, probably. Garden City's in there.
Yeah, Garden City as well.
Uh-huh.
But
let me, before we get JT, Coach, are you a fan of the NIL and coach in college football, college basketball, college athletics at all? Are you a fan of the NIL?
Not the way it's structured. No, I hate it. I think kids should be paid. I would have loved to be paid. My best, one of my good friends growing up, Ed O'Bannon, is who this thing started. Who started this whole thing? High school teammate, but I'm not a fan. NIL was supposed to be name, image, and likeness. So Calvin Jackson goes and sells 1 million jerseys. He should get that money.
Right.
Yeah, agreed.
That's what it really was for. It wasn't. This is not what it is. This is pay to play. And this is not NIL whatsoever. And this is what I said the problem would be when it first started years ago with friends of mine like Sark and Lane Kiffin and them. And I'm like, look, the backup tackle's not selling jerseys. He's not getting a Boost mobile phone deal, and he's not getting a Cadillac car dealership. So there's going to be a problem. And when Nick Saban's, he retired, there's other guys that are leaving too. But when you talk to the room in the locker room and guys are side-eyeing you because they see the other guy making more money than you, that's when it became a problem. There's no way to get through to 100 players in a locker room anymore because everyone thought the grass was greener somewhere else, and that's what you're seeing right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like it puts those players in an uncomfortable situation. You know, it's like you got coaches reaching out to you while you're on this team, while you're supposed to be fully dived into this team, you know, and some of these players, they might think their teammates, they only got, you know, a foot in the water. And it's like, you know, is this guy going to stay? Is this guy going to go?
Right.
Is he going to take a higher
Bag.
deal somewhere else, a bigger bag somewhere else?
Right.
And it's just like, you know, it's you don't get that real team feeling. You know what I mean? You know, you can't like, is this guy going to be here next year? I don't know, man. He might take, you know, a bigger bag somewhere else.
Go somewhere else, right?
It's weird.
And it's chicken shit too.
It is. I agree.
And it's chicken shit. It's chicken shit for the coach that's calling CJ from another school.
Right.
I'm going to be honest. Like, that's the biggest chicken shit thing you can. If you couldn't get CJ originally on the first round of recruiting, then you're a lazy ass who lost in recruiting, and now you're trying to get someone else's goods when they're leaving somewhere else. You already lost them too. To me, that's when you're lazy, and I know you're a horrible recruiter. Yeah, and that's what we're seeing. That's what is happening in college football right now. That's why they don't want me coaching, because they know it'd be a wrap. Everybody would be on my team. That's the problem. They don't want that. And that's the fact that they don't want that. They want the lazy recruiter to be overpaid and under-deliver. And that's what these players are doing. They're overpaid under-deliverers. And that's what the coaches are doing. They're overpaid under-delivering. So we have a mediocre product on the football field in this current landscape. And I truly believe it. And it's ascending upwards for the first time in my lifetime, meaning the NFL is now reaping the benefits of what college transfer portal and NIL era has done. Now we get NFL guys who are under contract demanding trades similar to what? A portal. So that's what we have for the first time. It's bad. It's bad business, in my opinion.
Yeah. Coach JB, I loved watching the Netflix series. I love the way that you coach. I remember whenever I was in high school, it was like my senior year, I was watching that Netflix series. And, you know, I love that style of coaching that you have. Now, I know a lot of people, a lot of people criticize you. They're not a fan of it, whatever. But in my opinion, I love that old school coaching style. You know, it's like, you know, whenever a player messes up or someone's in the wrong, you really get on their ass. And, you know, who would you say that like is like a complete opposite version of you as far as like coaching?
Who's the complete opposite of me?
Yeah.
Yes. I want to hear this.
Everybody.
Yeah. One of one.
Right.
The old school guys are gone. Nick Saban left. Coach K in basketball. Coach K in basketball left. You got guys that are leaving Power 5 head jobs to go be coordinators in the NFL, or even a coordinator in college, as Chip Kelly did at UCLA. You leave UCLA in Westwood, California, a head job to go be a coordinator. That's how bad it's gotten. Let me just throw that out there. That's what a lot of folks don't understand. So you can't coach kids anymore. You can't turn boys into men anymore. And there is no more failure. Now every single kid thinks they're supposed to succeed right out of the womb. Gimme without earning shit. They think everything's supposed to be handed to them. And that's the problem. Coaching used to be getting you where you could not get yourself. Now it's no longer that. The kids all think they could get themselves somewhere, and they don't even know how to change the oil in their car or drive a car a little less. And that we're handing them $250,000 Hellcat keys. You wonder why there's so many DUIs, so many reckless wrecks out here from the whole Georgia squad. But anyway. Just think about it. Like, think about all the if you don't think that's a direct correlation, people are really delusional. If you don't think kid's never driven a Prius yet, and he's going to drive, you're going to give him a 700 horsepower Hellcat?
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah, give him a Lambo. Coach, it's time to give him a Lambo at this point.
You know what? I don't think Kirby Smart wants to allow it, but
what can he do, Coach? What can he do? That's the problem, right?
He has to now, and he'll be the next. He'll be the next one that exits the room.
Yeah. One thing I will say, I get a lot of questions about me being on Last Chance U with Coach JB. They say, "How was he as a coach?" and all this stuff, and they see the outside in. And if you weren't messing up, if you were going to class, if you're performing on the field, you didn't have any issues with Coach JB at all.
Yeah.
And they say, like, did this coaching style benefit you? Yes, it did. I'm an 18-year-old kid, didn't know what JUCO was. Okay,
Yeah.
I get a call from Coach JB. You want to go to Power 5? I was like, yeah, I want to go to Power 5, of course. He was all right. Come here, I'll get you a Power 5 offer after your first few games.
Raps.
Why wouldn't you go there?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly,
Right.
bro.
Exactly.
And that,
so
go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
I went through 2 years there, and I've seen people come, I see people go, and stuff like that. And I would say, being as young as I was, playing against 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds,
Yeah.
in JUCO, like it made me to who I was today. I would 100% die on that hill.
Yeah.
I needed it, because if I would have went straight to University of Toledo out of high school, who
Right.
knows where I would have been.
Right.
Right.
And it's like, if you're going to play for, Coach JB, you're not going to go play some patty cake
Oh,
football.
no.
You know what I
No,
mean?
no.
You're going to go get coached. You're going to go get better.
no.
You're going to
Right.
learn stuff. And like that brings me to another question, Coach, that I want to ask you. And, you've been around the game for a very long time. You've been around the JUCO scene a lot, and you've seen a lot of great players, obviously. And, my question to you is, like, what makes a great player not great? So, like, in other words, like, what's the most common thing you see a player do to, like, mess up his career?
Bad body language.
Yeah.
Number one, I don't want to recruit you. Number two, you could be the best player ever. We'll never find out because you have bad body language from the jump. And a book tells 1,000 stories. We already know. And I just think that there's so many kids like CJ going to Toledo, that's his offer. Well, guess what? He was under recruited for whatever reason that was. Who cares, and who wants to go find out right now? The fact of the matter is, there's a reason why everyone's under recruited, or there's a reason why everyone's over recruited. And CJ was under recruited. I'm like, look, man, there's no way in the world, having sent 20 kids to the NFL, that this kid is a Toledo player.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I told CJ, I said, hey, man, you'll play Division I. You'll have D1 Power 5 players that'll be better than Toledo's whole roster here at Indy. Come here for a year and a half and get out. And you'll get – and he had 20 Power 5 or D1 offers, and he chose Wazoo and Mike Leach, and it was a great situation for him. And look what he did preseason in the NFL. He should still be playing, in my opinion, but that's another ball game. And he did everything that you wanted a guy to do that was starving to move on. And we had a common interest. I talked to his pops and everything. Rest in peace. Got to talk to him and knew some of the same folks, and a couple of coaches at the 4-year level that knew CJ and his dad. And that was the situation. If you have a resume and a reputation of sending guys on, coaches reach out to me and say, hey, man, I want this kid with you. And when the kids find that out, then you get more players. They start sending you more guys. And then the kid realizes, a wise coach that's recruiting me from UCLA sending me to Coach JB. There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a correlation. So then the players understand I'm obviously not the guy that a lot of folks depict me as. I'm the guy that people don't know from a Netflix series. And that's what I like. That's what I wanted. I don't really care. I didn't sleep. I don't lose sleep at night because some fucking idiot on social media.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Somebody just behind the screen.
I would lose sleep at night if CJ thought that I was that guy. And I didn't do my job. I didn't handle. I didn't stand up to my word and do what I said I would do for these guys. That is the ultimate thing, and people don't realize. So that's what I would lose sleep for. Not wins and losses at a JUCO. Not anything other than getting those kids scholarships and making sure they didn't get arrested or die.
Yeah.
Coach, I got to ask you this because, obviously we brought up questions about your coaching style, and obviously it's been, through the Netflix series where people talk about this guy's bad, whatever the case may be. Everything has changed, I think, in coaching. I'm a South Florida kid. Obviously, I grew up with a Dolphin fan. I grew up with Don Shula. We saw all that. I worked with Joe Rose down here. Joe Rose was a player for Don Shula. We went from Don Shula, and now we're at Mike McDaniel. It's a huge difference, a contrast in coaching, and I feel like the transition to that is happening all over the place. There are no more Coach JBs. There's more Mike McDaniel-like coaches around the world right now, around the coaching scene. I don't necessarily agree with it. I kind of agree with JT and CJ. We had this conversation before about playing for a tough-nosed, hard-nosed, a hard-ass coach because it makes you a man, it makes you a better player. Are you okay with the coaching styles nowadays? The Mike McDaniels of the world, the Deion Sanders of the world, guys like that. Yeah. Everything has changed, Coach. It's a much different scene, like you said. That's got to piss you off a little bit.
Oh yeah, I hate it. It's not, and I don't really care. I'm not going to bag check or check someone's pockets. I don't really care who you are. Here's the issue. why? What do you get out of it? What do the
Right.
players get out of playing for Mike McDaniel in 30 years? Can they say, oh, man, yeah, you know what? It was easy. We didn't have to go to practice. We didn't have to do
Right.
shit. We got paid millions of dollars to be average
he
Joe.
was my best friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, I get to be average Joe. Well, fuck, I can work at Walmart and be the average Joe.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Right.
don't
Welcome on
understand.
in.
We're 1%ers, I thought, in the NFL, in the
Right.
NBA, in Major League Baseball. 1%ers. And now we're treating these kids like they're just supposed to be there, and they woke up out the womb ready to be an NFL player. It used to not be easy. Now these kids expect everything handed to them. They don't need to work for it. We don't play. We got condoms on our helmets in practice. We got all these different things that we're doing now to limit all the stuff, the rigor of the sport. It's not supposed to be golf. Like, I don't understand why people think this is supposed to be easy and nice and all this. We got rid of 3 days. Then we got rid of 2 days. Then we got rid of hitting. And then we got rid of hitting the quarterback. And we took out the wedge breaker. Then we took away kickoff. Like, what are we doing? Let's put flags on them, man, and let women play. But
Right.
that's what it is. That's what it's turned into. And unfortunately, man, it's crazy how they're doing it. But I said it on my show. There's really, besides, let's say, Mike Tomlin, you got Vrabel.
Right.
You got probably McVay's a player's coach, but at least he's an old school cut. Probably
Yeah.
Shanahan. And then you got MCDC in Detroit. And then you got, I don't know, how many other guys are there that's not, vaping on the sideline, skinny jean wearing,
Right.
analytical guys. They're all
Yeezys,
analytical.
right,
They're all
right.
analytical guys.
Yeah,
now.
very,
And-
very.
and you asked the
very
question about McDaniel. McDaniel's one of my least favorite guys in the league just because you either allow it or you coach it. And he's 0-11 in cold weather on the road. You play in a division where 3 of the games are going to be played in the snow in November, in December, and yet you've yet to address the trenches, O-line, D-line. Now, this is the first year he did it. He finally did it, and I said it live. I'm like, all right, let's see if he changes. He's got an opportunity year 4 or whatever. I said the whole offense, the whole system, the whole team is built around finesse. Where you played it, where a place like Don Shula, Larry Zonka, like the guys you're talking about, and you're going to go in there and finesse this thing and a team. And I get it. Miami's like LA almost. It's like a city where, all right, glamour, gold, glitz. But damn, the football wasn't. And I don't think South Miami high school football isn't either.
No.
And Broward County and all those,
No.
like, come on, man. That's not what this is. And I think he's created that whole reputation there of being soft. And I think the players, you give them an inch, they'll take a yard.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Coach. It's just something we talked about it before because I'm more of an old school guy. Obviously, I'm the oldest guy in this building, so I'm more of an old school guy. But I don't even need to go back to the Shulas and the Zonkas of the world to go back to the Zach Thomases of the world, guys like that that were dogs, that were this and that. It just has all changed. I listen, Coach. I've been in sports radio for 24 years. I just jumped out to hang with these 2 guys. That's all we do is the 3 of us hang out. But I look at it as what the hell happened? Like what happened to the world of coaching, the guys like you? There are no more guys like you out there, and you're a rare breed. So when you get ripped for controversy or ripped for the way your coaching style was, I look back and go, and these 2 guys played and both said, I would love to play for that guy. Coach, I want you to come here and give a goddamn speech to all the breakers in this place.
It's like the world has gotten so soft, man. It's like it drives me insane because it's like you go and dog on a guy that's like trying his hardest and he's actually putting in the effort and he's showing that he actually cares, and you're gonna go dog on this guy for that? Are you kidding me? That's how soft the world has gotten, and it makes me sick. And it's starting to change our game that we love and that we put so much into, that we put all the time in the world into, and it's like, dude, like, what are we doing? Like, it's not
changed.
how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Definitely, it's not starting to change. It's been changed. This is
exactly.
This is flag football to me. Here's the issue. This is the problem too. Like, I would like to be coached and then in 30 years be able to tell the story of that guy and then go watch him. Whether it's next to his deathbed, ironically, or what. But I'm sitting there saying, man, thank you. Every coach I ever had. Now, we're going to have assholes in life and coaches and the guys that didn't care for us and shit like that. Those are the guys that we choose to stay away from. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to take even those counts and say, all right, I learned something from that guy even too. But nowadays we're so sensitive that we'll rather cancel a guy or what have you because he yells at us. This is the truth. Nick Saban truly told me, he came in and said, JB, you've done everything. I can't thank you enough for being on film for 8 hours a day and doing what we do every single day for the last 40, 50 years in my coaching career that's not filmed. If it was filmed, I'd have been fired long ago.
Right.
Exactly.
So just think about it, man. And people revere Nick Saban as a saint and a god in the world. But if you know how this thing was, people always want to taste the sausage. They don't want to know how it's made, man.
Absolutely.
Right. If you look behind the scenes, I mean, I'm sure there's times where, I mean, like you said, if Nick Saban was filmed throughout as much as you were, 8 hours a day coaching or whatever, like you said, they canceled.
He would have been canceled.
It's just how it is,
Oh,
right. You wouldn't have lasted. Coach, I got to ask you this before these guys take over, because I know you got to leave here in a second. How do you like the media scene, being the podcaster, being this kind of guy? I know that's a big transition for someone coaching people to now sitting in front of a camera and talking shit all day long. I like it, Coach.
Yeah, man, it's just one of those deals. I got a couple good, decent sponsors, and we got the show growing. I think it's like one of the second fastest sports shows on YouTube growth wise, and we got nominated or something for a few awards. So it's going, man. I stuck to being me, man. I was like, I'm not gonna change. People
have to, Coach. Me. Right?
Yeah, and now it's starting to like come through where people are like, oh man, I only want to go to Coach JB's show because he's the only one that says and say the real shit. And
the real.
Hopefully it turns into that. More people start to do that. And if I'm a trendsetter, so be it. Being on McAfee and all those guys help. But, those are guys that have he's turned this into more of a gray area guy to do it. But he's doing it the similar fashion, and he's going to do it his way. And he's as big as it gets out there. So, it is what it is. I'm just going to – I can't go out in life knowing that I had to do something that someone else told me to do and not what I wanted to do. And I'm going to do my way or not do it. So it is what it is. But
good for you, Coach.
It's growing.
I got one more.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Question on my half. So I don't know if you remember that my second year before we lined up and played Iowa Western. Do you remember that week when I was hurt?
Yep.
Hurt in quotes. Did you truly think I was faking my hamstring injury? I never asked you this. I never asked you this. So I don't know if you guys noticed this. He threatened to cut me. So he calls me to the office. I didn't practice all week, right? He's like, listen here, man. Are you hurt? I was like, yes. He's like, can you run? I was like, I can run, but not 100%.
Yeah.
He was like, well, we're cutting the roster down real soon. So if you can't run, we're gonna cut you. So I'm just sitting in the office. I'm like, dang. I gotta play.
Coach, he was faking it, right?
So
Coach, what was that? Fake or not, Coach? I gotta hear that.
Look, I see. This is the part that CJ now is a grown up and understand. He understands now. See, here's the issue. Like, CJ had a little reputation of getting away with some things in high school. And being able to. And I talked to a lot of people like, oh, CJ's gonna hobble away from some things, right? So the first year we were so talented and stuff that he got to get away with it. He wasn't like the guy yet, even though he was like one of the guys. He was like, we had other guys, so it wasn't like as glaring. But the next year I'm like, you're the guy.
Right.
So like there's no more like hamstring and all this shit. So I had to teach him the difference between fucking injured and hurt.
Yeah.
And that's what I had to do that day. So I remember I could tell him the whole fucking conversation, just like every play I've ever called. I remember it all. But I brought him in the office and I knew it. And Netflix heard and ran in there. And I tried to do it. I tried to catch CJ.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And CJ is one of the guys I would like text privately and say, hey, meet me over here at a certain amount of time, because I didn't want Netflix to follow my ass.
Right.
For sure.
Right. So,
Yeah.
and I would disconnect my mic and I would try to certain guys I would talk to privately. And I was trying to talk to CJ that way. And he popped in and Netflix was there. It was like lunch hour or something. And we were in the little war room. And I'm like, so I had, it was for most part an act on my end trying to shock treat his ass. Like, no,
Yeah.
no, motherfucker, you're playing. So, hey, he got through it. And guess what? The number one question for me from coaches were, hey, is he tough, man? Is he tough? Because what happens is these guys don't realize the NFL, college, Division I levels, they talk to their same high school coaches, they same people in their circle, and they're going to say, somebody said something, and all it takes is one.
Yeah.
And then now I'm the one with the reputation to say that's the truth. So I'm like, nah, man, CJ's figured it out. Year one, maybe he wasn't as tough. Year two, he's much more tough and blah, blah, blah. And Mike Leach asked me specifically over and over and over in about 1,000 different ways as psychological warfare that he would play with you. Mike Leach, he would do that with me as well. And I've sent him multiple players over the years, and he would always ask me in a roundabout way the same question, but 1,000 different ways where you're really confused, like, fuck, What's he asking about? And he's asking
yeah,
about,
yeah, and he's trying to get the same answer. From
Right,
you,
right,
or
that's
he's
it.
trying to
and
get you
Chad,
to slip.
so because the safety went with CJ from Indy as well. So like we had two guys, and I was like, Coach, man, he's ready to go. He's good to go. And then so it ended up working out. But like people don't realize, I tell these, that's why CJ probably remembers. That's why a lot of the Division I coaches didn't like me, because I wouldn't give them their grades. I wouldn't give D1 coaches a grade. I wouldn't let any person on my staff or anyone in the office administratively give out a grade of a kid to a coach. And all the kids were like, after a while, didn't know why I did that, but I had to cuss coaches out too. Like, who said give a grade out? So I made it a mandate. No grades go out other than me. Because what happens is you get shitbirds like Gundy in Oklahoma State, who hates me. They'll come in and try to get a grade. They'll get a grade on a kid, and they'll see CJ has a D, let's say, at mid-semester point, and then he'll go to a practice at, let's say, Coffeyville or another JUCO, and there'll be 100 Division I coaches out there, and those coaches will say, "Hey, man, I'm over here to see CJ at Indy. Oh, he ain't got no grades." And what happens is now 100 Division I coaches heard him say that, and now CJ's blackballed. CJ has no shot no more. So see, a lot of the young coaches didn't understand that. So I didn't give out grades because I could fix them still. And so, I used to cuss coaches out all the time, Division I coaches who I knew were going to do that type of thing. So there was a method to the madness, and that's why I've sent 300 guys D1 and 225 plus to the league, because those are little things that a lot of guys don't understand in the business. These guys are so egotistical that they're really that they're all for their payday. Definitely. And they could give a shit less about CJ's personal life. Like, they didn't give a shit about him losing a scholarship. They saw a D on his transcript. And that's what, unfortunately, a lot of these D1 coaches do. They're the CJs and the kids of the world are pieces of meat in the meat market. Right. And that's what I did not allow my kids to do or be. So that's the problem. So hate me now, love me later. That's why I wrote the book, that name, because hate me now, but love me at the end when you get out and get a scholarship. In CJ's case, caught 3 preseason touchdowns and, should have made the roster, but he got fucked. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I know you got to run to a meeting, so I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to put you on the spot here. We'd love to do this again. Just to have a conversation with you again, the three of us and you at any point in time. Plug the podcast one more time so everyone knows where to go get it.
Yeah.
We couldn't thank you more for all this, but we want to make sure you get your book and your podcast stuff out there. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're the Coach JB Show, man, with my co-host, Big Smitty, every day, 6 to 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on YouTube, 9 to noon Eastern. And we do the show 3 hours a day, man, every day live. And we're getting some big-time guests every day. And we got a lot of big-time, usuals, our usual guests that come on. And Eric Weddle, Super Bowl champ, Brian Urlacher. We got a lot of guys that come on weekly. And then, so, yeah, we're there every day on YouTube and X live, and, catch us every day. So we're there. Appreciate you guys. Anytime, let me know.
And Coach, I got one more question for you. Just something real quick, all right? So you're going to start one, you're going to bench one, and you're going to cut one, all right? So 3 running backs.
I thought it was us. I felt like I was in a shitstorm there.
3 running backs that are currently in the NFL, right? You got Saquon Barkley, you got Derrick Henry, and you got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Ooh.
Go.
Man, for me, Saquon starts. Man, for me, Gibbs is coming off the bench, and Henry's gone just because his age and the style of offense I run. So
fantastic. Thank you so much.
What a great answer.
Fantastic.
Coach, what a great answer.
Much, Coach.
What a great at the
Appreciate
buzzer,
that,
Coach.
man.
What a great one there. Listen, Coach, like I said, we want to do it again with you. We had a great time today. Thank you so much for your time. Obviously, your relationship with CJ got you here, but hopefully now that you don't think that me and JT are slapdicks, or we are slapdicks, and we're going to be now part of your team from now on because we're a part of it. But really appreciate your time today. I can't speak for these two guys, but I will speak for them anyway. Thank you for your time. Hopefully we could do it again.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Anything for CJ. He knows it, so let me know.
Well, that's why I'm incentivizing him and keeping him around, Coach. At that point now, he's my slapdick now. That's it. Coach, thanks for your time. That was Coach JB, Coach Jason Brown, one of the most popular, and I'm going to say one of the most controversial guys joining us here. That's CJ, that's JT. This is Radio's Yard. That was the coach, our special guest today. Thanks again for watching and listening, subscribing. Make sure you check out Coach JB also on the YouTube channel as well. But we appreciate your time today. Thanks again, Coach. And we'll see you again soon here on Radio's Yard.